From the sim layer, Flight 247 presents We've Got Whiskey. I am your host, Sean Lynch. Welcome to We've Got Whiskey, where we discuss and review aviation products and topics that are cool and interesting for pilots and aviation enthusiasts alike. I want to do an unboxing for you today. This one is a little bit overdue, and it's one that is really pressing on my capability of getting in and getting the flight simulator to where I want it to be. The unboxing I'm going to do today for you is the TCA Quadrant add-on Airbus edition by Thrustmaster. You can check out the original unboxing and review I did on the TCA Thrustmaster Airbus Quadrant to see the first part of that, but let's get into this one right here. First off, the box again is very, very nice. It gives a nice illustration of what the components are, what's inside the box. It's got a real picture of an Airbus A320 flight deck. On the side, it talks about the switches that are available, and then it talks about the functionality that is capable with the TCA Quadrant. If you notice here that this is expandable to 4 throttle levers. I don't have the 4 throttle levers because I just want to fly twin engine. So I've got the original Quadrant, but it is expandable up to 4. So very, very impressive on that part. Once we get into the actual box, we've got a instructional sheet that illustrates how to put things together. It will require a small Phillips head screwdriver to combine the components together. You only really need the front page. Inside is just legalese. The throttle, the add-on itself comes in this clamshell packaging material. There's a core, it's a little accessory bag. Other side of the clamshell. Wrapped in cellophane. So exactly the same quality that we saw with the TCA Quadrant. A lever for spoilers, a lever for flaps. It has a landing gear, up and down switch, auto brake switch, rudder trim, and parking brake. In the packaging, it comes combined together. So you will need your Phillips head screwdriver to remove that. There are 2 inside the accessory bag. I won't open it up, but there are 2 more of those plastic joiners, and there are 2 cables. The cables are actual hardware. From first look, you would just say they're just rubber, but it actually does have the pins to connect it for USB functionality. I'll flip this up. So on the bottom, you can actually see where those cables join in. It is labeled on the bottom for flap and speed brake. Just like with the original TCA Quadrant, the quality is really outstanding. The smoothness in the levers is very, very nice. The knobs on the speed brake and flaps feel very realistic. The twist knobs here for rudder trim and auto brake do have kind of a toyish feel to them, but they are still a nice quality. And it's a good solid weight on the Quadrant add-on here. I'm going to grab my original TCA Quadrant right here. You can see on the bottom, which I didn't even recognize, but there's the rubber plugs. You pull the rubber plugs out and now you have your USB connectors for flaps and speed brakes. All in all, holding them together, you can see that the TCA Quadrant and the speed brake spoiler are basically the same width. It's slightly wider combined with TCA flap and speed brake. But for planning purposes, if you have somewhere where you're going to mount these, so you can see here it's about a 1/2 inch wider for the combined flaps and speed brake compared to the TCA Quadrant. I'll give you this view. Again, the realism on these is really, really excellent. Just like the TCA Quadrant here, flap and speed brake looks like real equipment out of the airplane. I'll also hold up the bottom here, so you can see where the plastic joiners will fit in on the left and the right side with a Phillips head screwdriver. Something else I'm noticing here too is that you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 holes bored in, and they're actually threaded, so you could bolt this to a base. The TCA Quadrant as well has one here and here, and again, so you can bolt this to a base as well. I do not know what kind of threads that is, but I think if you went to a hardware store with the device, you could go to the hardware aisle and you could find the right threads to get the bolts that you would need to mount this to a panel. And that's what my plan is for this device. I'm very happy to see that they have the threaded holes there. I was going to use alien tape or some other method to fuse this down, but there's that part of me that it's like, well, alien tape bonds so well, I don't necessarily want to have this bonded with alien tape. I would rather have something that is a little bit more modular, that I can, if I change my mind later down the road and I want to put this somewhere else, that I can remove it without causing any potential damage to the devices. In my next video, I plan to show how I have mounted the TCA Quadrant and the TCA Quadrant add-on into my main panel. And of course, I owe you a video showing the functionality and how it connects into Microsoft Flight Simulator, the ease and in setting up the device for customization. Thanks very much for watching today. I really hope you found some value. This is We've Got Whiskey. I'm Sean. Thanks for watching.
Chapter 944 heading 140 Whiskey, carrying back to ILS runway 22 left approach.
All right, 22 left, and we do have whiskey in there, good for us. No, Delta 668 with whiskey. Approach JetBlue 636, 9,000, whiskey. Approach JetBlue 26, clothing 11,000 with whiskey. 140, and we've got whiskey.
Approach, visual approach, runway 12 left. Information whiskey is now occurring. Signal altimeter 2993.
Approach pre-carried 5642, 20.3 is going to be the Arch 2, landing southeast with whiskey.
Thanks for watching We've Got Whiskey. Until next time, notify on initial contact you have whiskey. See ya.
7429016, we got whiskey, southbound departure.
I want whiskey.
We know.